I hate to be cheesy here, but to quote the great thespian Patrick Swayze, nobody ever wins a fight. Did you squirt yourself?
I did. It's all over my hand.
Oh man,
I
that's
might
a
have to.
you know what that's a start to a good night right there, man.
Yeah, that's right. And if you get it on your hand, you lick it off.
Kids listening out there, stay in school, get a degree.
You're about to listen to Whiskey Hell Podcast, a show centered on recent news, excellent craft beer, and absolute debauchery. While the guys are getting ready, you can reach them on Twitter at whiskey_hell. You can also go to the whiskeyhellpod.com or email them at whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com. At the end, be sure to drop them a review as a thank you for the content. Looks like they're ready. Enjoy the show, and listener discretion is advised.
Ten, nine, eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
It is Saturday night, 9:48 in the evening, January 14th. Season 3 is kicking off tonight. How you doing, Fitz?
Dude, I am so ready to get this fucking candle lit. It feels like it's been forever, but we did a special show from Vegas. So that's why, but it has been forever since I've been sitting in this chair talking through this mic to you. And it feels good to be back, brother.
It is so good to be back. It has been a long 2 weeks, a tumultuous 2 weeks, and I'm ready to crack my first beer. Oh.
And there it is.
Oh,
Sound effects included. Did you squirt yourself?
I did. It's all over my hand.
Oh man, that's
I have to-
you know what? That's a start to a good night right there, man.
It is. It totally is. So
I mean, most people aren't sure what to do with a squirter. But here on Whiskey Hell, we know what to do with squirters. Drink them.
That's right. And if you get it on your hand, you lick it off.
Well, yeah, you must be doing something right.
Exactly. So let's see. Last week we were in Vegas. We put out the Vegas show. That was nuts. We're gonna get into Vegas when Hefe comes on. Hefe? We're gonna call him Hefe.
Hefe?
How's that sound?
Little Heffy. Sure.
So we're gonna get into that when Hefe comes on later, because we've got a whole Vegas is gonna get flogged. We're just
Yeah.
gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. You gotta know some things if you're heading to Vegas anytime soon. You gotta know some things about Vegas, because it's not your granddaddy's Vegas anymore. It just isn't.
No, it's not. It's concerning too. But we're gonna totally get into that. We have also got big week for the Republicans. They decided to come up with some random stuff that they wanted to get rammed through.
Yeah,
Republican
McCarthy
style.
didn't waste any time, did he?
No, he didn't. He really didn't. Biden had a really shitty week. All kinds of bad stuff happened to him.
Yeah, feels like there's something in the air there, doesn't there? I mean, I know we're going to get into it a little bit more later, but this feels Trumpish.
It does feel Trumpish.
Or even if I could go with the Democratic Party, this feels Andrew Cuomo-ish.
Ooh, yeah,
right.
I think you're right there. Especially, well, we'll get into it. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
We've got an article from 2021 that we have to talk about. Article on men fist fighting lions. We're going to get into that. And also, Scientific American came out and, took advantage of the Damar Hamlin collapse in a way that was, I just don't think it was necessary. So we're going to have to get into that too.
Not only was it not necessary, it's blatantly, well, I guess, honestly, the way I feel about it, it's blatantly racist.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get into that too. So yeah, we got some big stuff here going on our season 3 kickoff. I'm really kind of excited for this season because I feel like the three of us have we've broken a new hymen, I guess is the only way to say it. Right? We've gone on the road together.
We did.
And we're not going to be able to get rid of that feeling. I think we're going to want to do that more, and I think we're going to make that happen. And again, don't hold us to anything, but just being out on the road, being together, talking to other people, getting interviews, experiencing that experience. I want more, man. I want more.
It was fun. It was really, really fun. It was fun having all of us in the same place. It was fun being able to riff off of each other just on the fly. It was creative. It was heartwarming. It was just a really, really great time. And we're going to do this more. We might do some beer visits. I'm going to try and get Hefe into some different breweries. I'm going to take that on since he's out here. See if I can get him. We're gonna try and educate him on all that is craft beer.
I love that. I love that for him. And because what'll be nice is when he's on the show for his segments, he can talk about a new beer he's tried, love it, hate it, whatever. But that'll just be a nice experience for him to share, but then also for our listeners to get a hold of. So
exactly. And I think the first time when he has time and I have time, we'll try and pick out a weekend and we'll go to maybe Oso first. Local brewery. They're one of the big dogs here in town. Just really, really fun. So we'll try and get him there, get him a couple flights. He can do some damage there. Then I'll go drop him off at home. So
right. Love it. Love it.
All right. Well, we've got a lot of season 3 we want to talk about. We'll talk about when Hefe comes back. But let's go and get to our beers. What are you drinking over there?
Tonight, I'm kicking off with a Lagunitas. This is part of their Wood Shop series, which I have not heard of before, but I have a feeling we're probably going to be talking about this series a lot on this show because this is this one is the Willetized coffee stout aged in rye oak barrels. So this is a special series that Lagunitas is going. I guess it's going to be their barrel aged stuff. I'm not even, I've been seeing a lot of coffee stouts lately. Like even if they've got vanilla and cocoa in there, they're throwing coffee in too. So I almost didn't get this beer only because, the whole coffee stout thing seems to be overdone. But one, it's Lagunitas. Two, it's a brand new series they're coming out with, and I just want to be a part of it. So let's see what we got here.
So, yeah, go for it.
Oh, whoa. All right. Nice job on this beer. Smooth, kind of coats your mouth the way you want a good wood to coat your mouth,
Yep,
the ladies know what I'm talking about.
Nice thick coating in your mouth.
Yeah. The wood needs to penetrate. But what's nice is the coffee is subtle. It's not overpowering, which I don't like. I don't like it when they throw in, 6 bats of coffee in there and that's all you taste. This is really subtle, really smooth. And by the way, this beer is from 2022. It's a 13.1 ABV. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it's a substantial beer. And for some reason, now it's only the small, the 12-ounce bottle. But it was only $3.99 at my local place. So how could I not buy this beer? Yeah. 13.1%, and it was $4. So for $4, which is the opposite of what happened in Vegas, which we'll talk about, but no, very nice, very nicely done beer, very smooth. I'm anxious actually for this to warm up a bit because I think some of those notes in the back are gonna open up. So yeah, great beer.
So for that beer, where does it Compare it to Bourbon County for me.
Okay. Much less boozy, not as hot at all. In
Okay.
fact, I'm not getting any booze. I'm getting a little bit of, there's some chocolate notes in there. Like I said, the coffee is subtle. And this is one of those that is virtually no head, which is also kind of what we saw with the Bourbon County. Not a lot of head, but this one's just really thick, really viscous. And not nearly as hot as the Bourbon County. And I think everything about this beer is a little bit more understated than the Bourbon County, which isn't bad about the Bourbon County. I mean, we love that beer, and enjoyed it quite a lot on this last trip. But I like this. This is kicking off my night perfectly because I wanted something subtle and not overpowering, and that's what I'm getting here.
Good. And it's still going to be a punch in the face because it's what did you say it was 13 something?
13.1. Yeah. Yep. So
did you know that they are owned by Heineken now?
I did not know that, and now I'm going to dump this beer down the. No, just kidding. I'm not going to do that.
Well,
I feel like what doesn't Heineken own?
So and the only reason I bring this up, I'm not knocking it because we had Bourbon County while we were in Vegas, and it was wonderful.
They're an Anheuser-Busch, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
I still don't like it. I'm not going to go out of my way to drink the big boy beers like the Heinekens and the Ambevs. I don't search them out. And I don't think you did for this one either, obviously.
No.
But I will say this. Those beers have not been bastardized.
No.
And I'm very happy that it's still a good beer. It still tastes like a craft beer.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think, I mean, you're a big company like, Heineken or Ambev or whatever. I mean, if you can't beat them, join them. Because, I mean, they were getting killed by the craft beer scene. They were getting killed. So, I mean, yeah, they're throwing their weight around a little bit. But I mean, as a company, that's what you do. And I don't want a monopoly, but I think there's still plenty of room in the market, for the Arizona Wildernesses or the Ninkasis of the world to still make an impact locally and still make good beer, but without, having to feel like they have to sell out in order to make any money.
So on that same note, I'm actually on Wiley Root's site. My beer is Surgical Precision.
Yeah.
This is a 10.3%. I don't think we've had this one on here before.
No.
They're actually from Colorado, and this is an imperial stout with coffee, cinnamon, maple flavor, honey, and marshmallow.
Ooh.
I've never had. I think we've had Wiley Roots on here, but not this specific one, which is cool.
Yeah.
This is a kind of a fascinating beer. I
hope it doesn't get too sweet on you.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Mouth-watering.
Okay.
That's fun. You remember as a kid when you would have those cinnamon bears?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And how
Yep.
it wasn't like it was like it almost tasted like real cinnamon, but it had that little bitterness to it.
Yeah. Yep.
There's that in there. You get coffee, you get the cinnamon. I don't get any maple, but then I get the marshmallow smell, and then I get a little bit of sweetness on the back end. It is not
Okay.
overpowering.
Good.
It is a complex coffee beer, and it's not. It's a thick pour.
Yeah.
It's a thick pour. I just poured the remaining amount of it out, and it's definitely a thick pour, but it's good beer, smooth. Not doesn't taste like 10.3% either.
Yeah, no, this doesn't taste like a 13 at all, which is, a little dangerous, a little frightening. Interesting that we both went with coffee beers, and maybe to my earlier point, I feel like that's all I'm seeing around here anymore is if it's a stout, it's got coffee in it.
I don't know why it has to be like that, because it doesn't.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I agree.
Is it just are they trending away from IPAs? So they did that just to avoid that.
I mean, I would like to think so, but up here, coming back home was kind of, I mean, it was great to be home, be in my bed, be with my wife, be with my dog and my cats, and be in my house and yada yada yada. That was all amazing. But I went out to go searching for beer, and I was like, God damn it, I'm just IPAs everywhere you look, and I'm okay with that. But give me something else too. It can't just be that. But
It is.
anyway.
It truly is a lot.
Yeah.
There truly is a lot up there. So Wiley Roots Brewing, hell of a selection. Go on to their site. It's wileyroots.com. And obviously you can go out to Ligonitis, and go to their website and check out the Willits.
Where's your brewery, Wiley Roots? Where are they from?
Colorado.
Colorado. Okay. All right. I mean, I don't know why that makes a difference to me, but I just like to picture where they're from on a map. So
No, it makes sense. That totally makes sense.
yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and throw it out to our sponsors real quick. We'll come back and we'll get into some news. Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into. Should we just go politics right off the bat?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, Mitch McConnell, taking over as Speaker of the House, has decided to go ahead and unleash pretty much whatever the Republicans want. With it, if it was a war, or we'll call it a street fight, like everybody shows up, and then everybody goes, "I've got a knife here, and I got a knife over here. I'm gonna just show off all my knives, and you're gonna be scared of my knives." And because all the stuff that the Republicans brought up, it's all going to get shot down. None of this is going to get through. But they brought up abolishing the IRS, which is a fascinating idea. And then the Democrats came out and they said, well, no, we're going to go ahead and we're going to lower the voting age. Fuck you. Watch this. So they want to lower it down to age of 16. It was just a nutty week.
I agree. I feel like, to stick with your analogy, and it was Kevin McCarthy, not Mitch McConnell. Yeah. McCarthy, which I'm sorry. Can I just really quickly sidebar and say, I'm uneasy with a man with the last name of McCarthy being Speaker of the House. I'm just gonna, because last time that political path was taken, the CIA was born. So, anyway, that's just a little side note. No, I to go with your earlier analogy, it's like, the escalation of weapons. Like somebody showed up and was like, "Hey, meet me in the school parking lot at high noon, and we're gonna have a fist fight." And then one of the dudes shows up with a knife, and then the other guy's like, "Oh, you got a knife? Well, I got a machete." And the other guy's like, "Whoa, you got a machete? I got a fucking wakizashi." And then the other guy was like, "Well, but I got a handgun," and the other guy was like, "But I got a bazooka." And where does it stop? I mean, it literally is. It's not political gamesmanship or one-upsmanship. This is all-out war, and it's I hate to be cheesy here, but to quote the great thespian Patrick Swayze, nobody ever wins a fight, right? Nobody ever wins a fight, and that's all we're doing now is bickering back and forth and fighting over what? Over what? You're going to lower the voting age to 16. So they can't drink. They can't go into the military. They can't affect our union in any way, but they're going to be able to be woke enough, I guess, to elect Democrats. Is that the philosophy? Is that what they're thinking there?
That's exactly where I went with it.
I mean,
that's exactly what I thought.
So yeah, I don't know that we need to hit this too much harder, but guys, if there's any politicians, which I hope there isn't, but if there's any politicians listening to this show and listening to my voice right now, just stop. We see you. We see what you're up to, and none of us are buying it. None of us care. You're full of shit. This is all this above board bickering, but behind the scenes, you're all giving each other handies, and we see it. So knock it off. Let's get down to some real stuff that's going to make this country a better place. Because trust me, letting 16-year-olds vote is not it.
16-year-olds can't even decide what they want to watch on TikTok.
Exactly. They all want to be influencers when they grow up. That's literally their number one job goal, career goal, is they want to be influencers.
I love my kids. Love them.
Of course.
They are amazing.
It was so good to see them, by the way. That was one of the highlights of my trip. So good to just cut it up with them. I got to sit on that end of the table. It was great.
Well, they missed you. And I think you may get visitors at some point during the summer. So we'll
oh my God, I would love that. I would love that.
But I don't want my kids at this point voting. Not when some of the stupid shit that comes out of their mouths. I don't want them to do that. Now, that's not to say that 16-year-olds can't figure stuff out, and that they can't be better than a lot of people our age. Let's face it. You know, that's
sure.
We're a challenge too. You know, there's a lot of us are idiots. Yeah. The overall body of work, I just don't see it.
I actually remember thinking when I was 18, because I, of course, right out of high school, went in the military. And I remember thinking, I mean, just the world hits you. You go into the military. I mean, the minute you get on the bus, they're yelling at you. I mean, the world comes at you really fast. And I remember thinking, I'm still a kid. What am I doing here? Why did I do this? I'm a child. And this is a really grown-up world that I just got introduced to.
Right.
And then my first election came up, and you're in the military, so everybody's encouraging everyone to vote. Like it's your civic duty. In fact, you're out there fighting and dying for the rest of America, which is more than most people do. So you should definitely have a vote out there. And I remember I'm like, I don't know any of these people. I'm looking at the ballot, going, I don't know any of these people. They don't know me. Why am I voting for them? I mean, I think it was a midterm. So I knew nobody on the ballot. So I walked out. I acted like I voted. I told everyone I voted. I did not, because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. That's when I was 18. What are 16-year-olds? I didn't know my ass, my foot, dude. All we were doing was chasing tail at 16. I mean, if Susie Big Tits had run for president, I'd have voted for her. I mean, but so don't tell me that these 16-year-olds have any idea the ramifications of their vote, my vote, your vote. They don't. They have other things on their mind, and they should. They're still children. They shouldn't be worrying about adult things. I
would still vote for Susie Big Tits now.
Oh, I know Hefe would.
No, this is just, it was just a pissing contest all week. What do you think about the abolishing of the IRS?
On the surface, that sounds really good. Really good. I mean, I don't want the IRS in my business at all, but really the alternative was, okay, we eliminate an income tax. Basically, then it would just go to a flat tax for everybody. Sales tax would go into effect at a federal level, and then kind of a flat tax for everyone. And all that means is a huge and tremendous wealth transfer, even bigger than the one we've already been going through, from the low and middle class to the upper class. And I'm not about that. No.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was really interesting. And then again, I think this kind of goes, what we touched on earlier was you're gathering voters, right? Well, if you're willing to go out there and, well, we really want, our platform is going to be, we're going to abolish the IRS. Well, how many votes are you trying to pick up? Even if you don't get it, because you're not gonna, just the act of wanting to do it, you're going to pick up a lot of votes.
Yep. Well, yeah. No, that's the whole concept of when a lawyer,
right.
A lawyer's in a trial and he'll say something and the defense will say, that's, objection, Your Honor, that needs to be stricken from the record. And the judge will say, okay, stricken from the record, but it's out there now. So people heard it. The jury heard it.
Right.
You can't unhear it. And I think that's exactly, to your point, McShane, I think you're exactly right. There's no way that this is going to happen, but they said it. And so people out there are going, ooh, This is the party that I want on my side because I don't like taxes.
So
Very
that
dangerous.
that comes out at the beginning of the week. Then the 16-year-old
Yeah.
bill comes out right after it. You know, they've just had these things just sitting in a drawer,
Yep.
waiting to bring them out. And now it's
Yep.
like, well, now we're just going to whip out our dicks and see what we can get done.
Yep.
And just for shock value, because, and honestly, it was good theater, especially when you look at what Joe went through this week. He had a shit week.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
So do we want to talk
and-
about his ban on gas stoves, or do we want to talk about him, all of his classified documents suddenly coming out for when he's a vice president?
Let's hit the gas stoves thing first, because I think there's been a pullback on that. And again, I think he did it for effect. I don't think he thought it was ever going to happen. But if you're doing something for effect, probably the first thing you should consider is, does this make me look like a fucking idiot? Because the way he said it, the timing of it, it just seemed so far out of left field. It's like, what in the hell are you talking about, man? Why would you bring this up now? Talking about childhood asthma and what? Like, we're on the brink of war. Our economy is about to die. They're arguing about kids being voters, and you want to ban gas stoves because like 10% of childhood asthma can be directly tied to it? What?
It was bizarre, and it's all about narrative changes. Let's chum the waters with something ridiculous. This will totally get the right all up in arms about this. We'll go and get the conservatives all up in arms about the childhood asthma being a threat and how we want to go ahead and get rid of gas stoves.
I mean,
now,
it worked. It worked because the right got pissed.
The right got, and they were laughed at.
Yeah.
Because it was so fucking far-fetched.
Yeah, it was dumb. That was a dumb thing. If childhood asthma and other, they cite other, respiratory diseases that are tied to gas stoves. Okay, then let's work on having better guidance and ordinances on ventilation in these shitty little apartments that, the ghettos and the stuff where these people are cooking. Let's have better ventilation, and then we won't have to worry about childhood asthma at all. Instead of banning gas stoves and natural gas, I mean, let's be honest, that's really what it was about. Let's go green, no more gas. Just a dumb signal to send, and not only dumb, really bad timing, bro. You're making out with Susie Big Tits, and then you're like, oh, by the way, just want you to know, I have really bad athlete's foot, so I'm going to leave my shoes on. I mean, wrong time, wrong place, bro. Not okay. By the way, Susie Big Tits, she's our new, I think she should be season 3's mascot.
I like this. Okay, so we need to come up with a picture of Susie Big Tits.
I think we have some.
See if I can find some clip art.
I think we saw a few of those this last weekend in Vegas, but just throwing that out there.
We totally did.
I just don't know if any of them were named Susie.
If for the right amount of money, they've probably named themselves Susie for us.
That's a great point. Hey, I got to tell you a quick update on this beer. It is opening up. There's some new flavor profiles in here, almost like I know this sounds weird to some of our listeners, but I'll say it to you. You'll know what I mean. There's almost a leather going on in here. I'm getting that real warm, leathery, woody, earthy undertones, and I think that must be the rye oak barrels really coming through strong. They should have not put coffee first. This should be a stout with coffee flavors, not a coffee stout, because it's subtle. It's there, but it's subtle. So anyway, but the second part of that is that 13% is legit. It is hitting bottom, and I'm feeling great. So let's carry on.
You've been willetized.
I have indeed.
All right. So yeah, I did enjoy some of the comments that were made. Joe Manchin said that, let's see here. I want to get his quote right. Where is it? The federal government has no business telling American families how to cook their dinner.
Well done, Joe.
I could tell you the last thing that would ever leave my house is the gas stove that we cook on. You could take, and he's not saying this, but some of the memes that came from this, you could pry my gas stove from my cold, dead hands.
Yeah, yeah.
What was it? There was one that was had an AR-15 with a gas stove attachment on it.
Oh, that's great.
Fucking funny.
Oh yeah, good stuff.
We've got a president who's a clown, and and that sucks. It sucks to say, but he truly is. And the fact that anybody thought this was a good idea is just bizarre.
No, it is weird. And yes, we have a president who's a clown. We have a serious competition going on, and I never thought I'd say this in our lifetime. But I'm going to say it, and I mean it. We have a serious competition between the worst president ever, between Trump and Biden. Both of them are clowns. Neither one is well-spoken. Both have really bad ideas. Both have terrible timing. Both are, even if they're being informed by their handlers and their aides, they don't know how to say what their handlers told them to say. I mean, it's neck and neck right now. And I'm not saying, I mean, Obama did his dirty deeds, and so did Clinton, and so did Bush. They all are, I mean, their hands are dirty with the blood of people everywhere. But every one of them could stand up and at least speak and at least be respected for what they were saying. Even if it was a flat out lie, you wanted to believe them. These two, the last, 7 years of this country, we're a fucking joke. It almost seems intentional.
Are we?
And I know, yeah, go ahead.
No, finish your thought. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I know that Spotify or somebody might have to flag this episode because I'm saying that our presidents are a joke. And if any special service agents are out there listening, and or our FBI handlers, we love you all. Hope you guys had a good, happy New Year. I'm not threatening anybody. I'm not saying that the president needs to go away. Well, he needs to go away, but he doesn't need to die. What I'm saying is these are clowns, and they're not even trying to hide it. Neither one of them. They're just out there. They just put them out there and say, here, they pull the string and say, start talking.
We just want better leaders. It's really all it comes down to. It's really not that. And it's not our fault that this material keeps popping up.
No.
These are softballs, and maybe we shouldn't be cherry picking, but good God.
But are we cherry picking? I mean, you had that. Who was that politician that came out today? Found out, his company, or was that yesterday? I don't remember. But he was a spokesperson for this company, or maybe he just was an investor or something. But he's like, oh no, we're totally above board. And he knew they were an investment company, and he knew that the company was cheating people. And it's coming out now. He's newly elected.
Was that George Santos guy or whatever?
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, Santos. That's it.
That's that doofus.
And so it comes out that, what do you know? What do you know? Another dirty, crooked politician. Shocking. I'm shocked.
We've always known politicians are dirty, but it's like these suck. Mm-hmm. Like they suck at being dirty. Like they can't even do that right.
No.
And just real, I really appreciate you bringing up our FBI handler. Hey, Happy New Year. And if you ever want to go grab a beer, shoot us a note. Okay.
Yeah.
whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com. And I personally will take you out for a beer. I'm sure Fitz will. We just want to be, we love you guys. Thank you for all that you do.
Totally 100%. And I'll even kind of add on to that, just to piggyback off of what McShane's saying. I'm assuming that you have a handler there in the Phoenix local office. I'm sure I have one here I don't think we have an office here in Eugene. Well, we probably do, but for sure we have an office up in Portland. So we have local agents, but I'm also certain we've got someone or someones back in Langley, because one of our biggest listenerships is in Langley, Virginia. So to those of you in Langley, if you could, get a day away from work, I'll get out to DC. I will absolutely. Our next show is Whiskey Hell FBI edition, and you're anonymous. We won't use your name. You can even change your voice, but we'd love to know what you think of the show. Let's do an interview. Let's do it. And I know you've been. I've been. I don't think Hefe's ever been to DC. So
I think we need to plan a trip now.
We've got another goal here to make happen, because truly, what a beautiful city to walk the mall, do all the Smithsonian's. Oh my God, speak of the fucking devil. Look who just joined us. It is Hefe in the flesh. Hefe, what's going on?
Nothing.
Nothing at all, huh?
Oh my God. Kids listening out there, stay in school, get a degree.
That's actually really bad advice, man, because a lot of kids with $100,000 debts from school are working at McDonald's. So I'm not saying that's the right way to go. Hey, Hefe, we're good. We're having a great kickoff to season 3. We've touched on our Vegas trip, but we wanted to wait till you got here to really, get into the nitty gritty. Real quick question before we get into that. Have you ever been to Washington, D.C.? Have you ever walked the mall and all that?
No.
Okay. All right. McShane, I was right. So we need to make that happen.
We've got great bars, fantastic history
bars
all over the place. We could do 3 or 4 shows just in a couple of days. So this is what we need to do either for later in the year or we kick off 2024 with it for Whiskey Hell Week.
Okay. I like this a lot. I love it.
All right.
Can we get can we get Marjorie Taylor Greene or what's her name from New York to come on the show?
Well, what we're working on, Hefe, and this is of course just between us, right? And our listeners, but just with the small Whiskey Hell community, we're trying to get our FBI handlers to come on and do an interview with us
Anonymously, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, we voice change the whole thing.
Right.
I mean, whatever level of anonymity they're comfortable with, we will make happen. My point is, we want to know what they think about our show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, totally off subject because that's Hefe's thing.
Excellent.
Did you guys see that football game tonight?
No.
I did not. Nope.
Chargers up 27-0 in the second quarter. They lose 31-30.
Oh my God. How does that happen?
To my favorite team, Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. Oh God. Oh, that's terrible.
That's just stupid.
I mean, good on Jacksonville, but
yeah.
Wow.
That was just crazy.
All you had to do was literally kneel every play, and you probably would have won.
Well, there's a guy on the craps table, and he goes, as soon as because they were down 30-28, and they kicked the last second field goal, and he goes, "Sweet, I just won $3,000." I was like, "Oh, nice." He goes, "Yeah, $500 bet."
Oof.
I go, "Oh, damn, when did you place that? Like halftime?" He goes, "No, before the game." And I go, "What?
Wow.
What? What'd you bet on?" He goes, "I bet on Jacksonville straight up." And I go, "And you won $3,000 off of 500?" And he goes, "Yeah."
They were that.
Where'd you get those odds? He goes,
Yeah.
My buddy's a bookie. He gave it to me. I go, "Well, dude, good on you," because they were underdogs, but like a point and a half, 2 points.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no way 6-1 unless you're betting it when they're down, 17-0, 20-0, something like that. Then you're going to get good odds.
His buddy's a bookie. That's fantastic.
His buddy's a retard.
His buddy just got. His buddy just got rammed.
I was like, surely he parlayed it with them because 6-1, that's like the standard 3-game parlay. It pays 6-1. I figured he parlayed it with basketball games or something, but no, he said Jacksonville straight up.
Or, and this is, I know it's unlikely, but that guy's a big fat fucking liar.
Could be, yeah.
And he's just throwing out numbers and doesn't really know odds and how all of the, how math works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. So anyway, back to the show.
So Vegas, give us what you thought of Vegas, Hefe.
Well, I kind of miss the way Vegas used to be.
Yes.
Like, back when we were just, I don't know, younger, I guess, but it just had a different vibe. I had an awesome time. It was so good. Like, but overall, it's just, I don't know, it just wasn't the same as it used to be.
Yeah.
But speaking of butts, that expo was exponentially awesome.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. And so, hang on, god damn it. Food and beverage guys think they own the fucking place, pushing
What?
us little car around.
You know what? Tell them to shove that food and beverage right up their
Dick.
sun don't shine area.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. He's lingering. Now he's going up the ramp. And you can hear me, okay, right?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we can hear you.
You're fine.
And I'll just say, Hefe, I mean, we did not talk about this before the show tonight. So the fact that Hefe said it the way he said it, that's exactly how I felt about Vegas. It just isn't the same. It's not the way Vegas used to be.
Yeah.
Well, and they're price gouging right now. It's not even inflationary. They're
No.
straight up price gouging. They're making up
No.
for being closed during COVID.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. It's borderline rape.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, because I'll just really quickly before you go. The part about Vegas that was awesome was the three of us were together, which felt like old times, and we were going and doing some really fun things. But I'll tell you that I got there early. That night I spent there by myself, and that afternoon before you guys got there, fucking sucked. I'm out and I'm paying $11 for a fucking Guinness. Are you kidding me? $30 for a Sam Adams and a shot of Jameson. $30.
Yeah. I thought it was bad here where I work. They're charging $7 for Corona. I'm like, really? But that was the next level Vegas. That was, and at the expo we got drinks for, what was it, 20 bucks after
21 bucks. Yeah.
Yeah. What was it? $18 rum and Coke. That was the one that I remember getting. And then you got to throw on like a tip, thanks for making it. And I will give the bartender this. I mean, at least it was a stiff one.
Yeah, it was. It was stiff, but but when you put it into context that I can almost buy an entire bottle of rum for 20 bucks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, not stiff enough.
Hey, and speaking of things that aren't the same as they used to be, did we bring up the hotel we stayed in yet?
No, not yet.
Please go on about the Rio.
Oh man, that place was the place back in the day. Someone else here at work brought it up. Like, yeah, back in like the early 2000s. Like, yes, exactly. Like the early mid 2000s.
Yeah,
like
they had Mardi Gras.
It was awesome, and now it's just a shell of what it once was. It's just also ran, and they even take it a step further by just being shitty. I mean, you ran out of sheets and pillows,
right?
So we had a pull out in our room. Wow.
Wait,
we had a pull out
couch. Okay, let's be specific.
Because we don't pull out.
No, none of us pull out. Nope.
They ran out of sheets, pillows, and blankets.
Hard to do.
We couldn't get any extra ones. And the bed on top of it, Hefe, thank you so much for sleeping on it, because goddamn.
Dude. Yeah. Next time, someone else is taking the hit, but yeah, because that was a shitty fucking bed. The poor guy, do you guys remember the poor guy that showed up to bring us what he had? Quote unquote, this is all I have.
Yeah. I think he went looking for us. It seemed like he pulled out a private stash or something.
Yeah, I think so too, because they smelled like the 1980s, like cigarettes and poverty. But it was like, he was like, I think he thought we were going to kill him, because you open the door.
Well, it didn't help that you're the one who's talking to him first, and then I come in and I'm towering over him. And he was 5'3"?
Yeah. I looked big. I looked big next to him, and I'm like, this is all you have? And then you come up and you're like, this is all you've got?
Poor guy. I was already pissed. So yeah. So the Rio, don't go to the Rio. Don't stay there. It's high price, $6 for a fucking coffee. They treat you like shit. The kiosks don't work when you go in to try and to actually get your room. The staff sucks. Most of the restaurants were closed. The only thing that saved us was that you and I pretty much racked the craps table.
Yeah. we did have Hefe almost died of alcohol poisoning. So being the really good friends that we are, we left him and went downstairs to go play craps. We left. Now, hold on. We left him with a bottle of Gatorade
That's right.
and a puke bucket.
Yep. Both.
But what's that?
And the whole room to myself.
And the whole room to yourself. So you could do what you need to do to, like, save yourself, CPR, whatever. But the McShane and I go down, we get some Starbucks, and yeah, McShane got hot. That's all I can say. You got hot on that craps table. It was fun. Really fun. And yeah, we took the Rio for, I think, combined more than enough to pay for the rooms.
Yeah. We did fun.
Yeah, one good thing about the Rio though is they do give away those cool free reserved signs. So took them for whatever you want at craps and a reserved sign.
And a reserved sign. It's right here next to my desk, actually. We're gonna, whatever, wherever we go, whatever next Whiskey Hell debauchery happens, that sign's coming, and we'll just use it as appropriate.
Well, that's going to be our show art. So that picture of you with the reserved sign is going to be our show art. So,
so
already
good.
had that planned. So
in the hotel in the casino.
Yes, the bed in the casino. Yeah, the one I photoshopped. Yeah, that's going to be the show art.
Oh God, McShane and I got the giggles on that, and I could not get a hold of myself. I was crying. I was laughing so hard. And then I had a hold of myself. And then I pulled out the picture again, and it was I lost it all over again. It was great. Oh man. And listen, I hope next time I'm the one that you guys get to take pictures of.
It almost,
yeah,
it came close. That's
true.
Night.
Yeah, no, you guys probably should have definitely. Although you guys passed out before I did. Well, sort of. I passed out on the floor.
Yeah.
The
I think we were hoping you were gonna pass out and not run down the hall again.
All right, that's classified information. That is only for our FBI handlers. Can we keep that on the DL, please? No, yep. I'll tell you what. Passing out on that cold floor did me a lot of good, because when I woke up, my body temperature must have been below 90 degrees. I was shivering so hard, but it sobered me up quick. I mean, I found my way to my bed. I got under those covers, and I was really, within inches of my life. But I mean, that's Vegas, right?
That is Vegas. Yep.
Yeah. Good stuff.
I actually started texting you guys a message earlier in the week, and the idea was I was going to say as soon as one of us wins the lottery or whatever, then we should have a challenge where we go to Vegas like every weekend for 2 months and to see how long we last. And like halfway through, I was like, well, if we win the fucking lottery, we're going to be going a lot of different places in Vegas. So
anywhere. Yeah. We'll go anywhere and everywhere. And I mean, you guys have kids. I got a wife. McShane, you got a wife. That would be hard. So let's do every other. But either way, no matter where we go, that reserve sign's coming. It's coming.
My alcohol tolerance will also be coming.
Yeah.
Right. You need to train for a week or two before you go.
Yeah,
I had the idea to do it, and there's just no follow through. I think I had a beer.
Hey, shout out to the Red Dwarf. That was the highlight of the trip as far as places we went.
Good call.
Yep.
Good call. Red Dwarf, and we'll talk more about that in a second, but also to second that, or maybe second place was Resort World. That's what Vegas is supposed to be. If it's going to be expensive, it better fucking look like that place. And it's amazing. It's really, really well done. That's where the AVN Expo was. Beautiful place. There was food everywhere, drinks everywhere, tables everywhere, slot machines everywhere. Plus, then there was a second level where all the shops and the fun stuff was. So great place. But yeah, Red Dwarf. McShane, set up Red Dwarf, man.
So, Hefe, do you have a minute?
No, I don't really. I got a minute while I'm walking in. Yeah.
All right. So just Well, it's okay. When you come back, we'll talk about Red Dwarf. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Let's tease it. We'll tease it. All right.
I love it. I love it. We should probably break for our sponsors anyway. So
We should. All right. We'll see you later, Hefe.
Okay, I'll see you in an hour.
all right, brother.
Okay. So let's go ahead and get back on the Joe had a bad week piece because we didn't even get into classified documents yet.
We did not.
So suddenly, out of the blue, and you can't tell me that this wasn't planned.
Oh,
because
no.
It's almost like they're falling on the sword.
No, McShane.
It's so random.
Because this is stuff that he had from when he was a VP. So we're talking, what, 6-7 years ago now? At least, maybe even more. No, they've been hiding this shit. So then when it's time, and this is kind of goes back to what I said earlier, it feels very Andrew Cuomo. Like, all right, you're not useful anymore. You're no longer a useful idiot. So now we need to have all this shit come out, quote unquote, be found. And because notice who's finding these things. It's his aides. Yeah. Those are the people that are supposed to be helping him, and they're hanging him out to dry. That's what's very telling to me.
There's no way at this point that he can go out there and go for another presidency. He can't go for another 4 years.
No, they're ensuring that right now. Nope.
So is this the thing that this where I went with it was not necessarily that it's all about making sure that he doesn't run. It's also, I think, making sure that Trump doesn't run. Because
yes, look at how they're doing it. Yes, good call, great call, McShane.
And I mean, we can get hung up on how do you not know that you had documents in a closet? How did you not know that you had documents sitting by your fucking Corvette
in the garage? And I love that he came out and he's like, but it was a locked garage.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe. Okay.
And on top of that, what are his aides doing out in the garage? Why the fuck are they out there? What are these aides doing?
Nobody's asking why this is all happening now.
Exactly. The timing, the storyline, it doesn't make sense, folks. It doesn't make sense. It's actually an affront to our intelligence. They think they can just put out whatever childish story they want. Oh no, I just found this $5 in my shoe. No, little boy, you stole it from me. Give it back to me. That's what this sounds like. It sounds like they're just making it up on the fly. Like, oh, we found some documents next to roll the dice. Corvette. Yes, it was a Corvette. What? What are you talking about?
I have some friends who wanted to argue on the other side of this that, well, he's not denying it like Trump did. He's not fighting it like Trump did. Oh, please.
Okay.
No, he's not. But it still doesn't change the fact that why do you have classified documents after you've left the fucking White House? And you were only a VP then. It's almost worse.
It is. You're right.
I mean,
it's
granted, the Orange Man had his at Mar-a-Lago, his little resort world. So that's bizarre that he'd take him.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I mean,
we could say allegedly to this too, but
exactly. And the other thing is we're forgetting the storyline here because it was actually Trump's lawyers that came out and said these documents have been found at Mar-a-Lago and we're not going to give them up until we're assured some sort of amnesty or something, but they've been found here. So actually the story's being totally perverted. Trump did admit it right up front. In fact, we would never know about it if his lawyers hadn't come out and said, hey, we found some shit. And then the DOJ said, okay, just keep them locked up in a safe there and we'll tell you what to do with them. And then they raided the place the next morning. That's the actual story. So he did come out and admit it. His lawyer said, we need to make sure this is out in front. So no, that's not an argument. It's not valid. Next argument. I'm not saying either one of them are right. I'm saying Trump was out in front, Biden is out in front, and they both fucked up, and they're both fucking idiots. I mean,
Have you noticed who's reporting this harder than anybody?
oh
It's
my
not,
God.
It's not Fox News.
No. It's all
It's NBC. It's CBS.
Yeah.
I don't know about
CNN.
MSNBC. I try to stay away
No,
from
no.
MSNBC, but
Me too.
But CNN also. CNN also.
Yep. It's all the ones that were supposed that's what I'm saying. That's why the narrative feels very Andrew Cuomo. Hey, we're with you. We're going to support you until the end. Well, now the end is here, and we're going to just completely hang you out to dry. We're throwing you under the bus.
His cover's gone.
Yeah, it is.
So now I think I don't remember what we predicted, but we did make predictions. I recall making predictions on when something that was going to happen. I thought that he was going to get some kind of illness and leave.
Uh-huh.
Is this the scape? Is this the out that's happening now?
I kind of feel like it is.
Is this how they exit so that Kamala Ding Dong comes in?
I'm gonna use that. That's awesome. Oh my God, she's such a fucking idiot. I don't know how she got through law school. No, I'm with you on that. I feel like they were kind of waiting and hoping, slipping in a poison apple, or hey, the steak has some arsenic in it, something, and just hoping he would die in office, and then that's just your easy out, right? I mean, you can't do a flat out assassination like they did with JFK. That's too obvious anymore. So they were kind of hoping he would just pass away in office. That's not happening. He's either doesn't eat enough, or he's just tough, because he's like, what, 80, 92, 87? I don't.
He's like 80 something or 76 or whatever.
No. He's over 80. I know that. Anyway, so now it's like, all right, politically, we have to assassinate him. I mean, this has to be a political death. And so let's pin some stuff on him that we've had, like you said, they've had this shit in the back of their back pocket.
He just turned 80.
That's too okay. 80.
Bitch.
All right. So that's two back pockets that they had, and this one was in the back pocket, and they're like, all right, it's time, and they're just pulling this shit out. Hey, let's make up a story about some aides that found some stuff, because they just go wandering around his house at night while he's napping. I don't know, dude. The whole thing just seems so contrived. And I'm not saying I'm unhappy about it. I don't want the fucker in there. Do I want, what would you say? Kamala Ding Dong? That's so great. Yep. Yeah, I don't want her as president either. She's an idiot. Certifiable. But it might be that might be what we get.
How's that beer going?
I'm about to take my last sip. I will tell you, that the 13% is present. I definitely feel myself. My ears are hot. I'm sweating in places I don't want to. But there is a little bit of it's something I missed earlier. There's that earthy tone. With that comes a little bit of you mentioned mouth-watering earlier. There's a little bit of sourness at the end of this. And again, I think that's the rye coming through from the rye oak barrels, but there's a little sour at the end. And I would definitely get this beer again. There's a great way to start this night. Really solid beer. Certainly worth the price, every penny. Great beer. I'm very happy. How about yours? How'd yours end up?
I like it. It actually ended up being very earthy as well, and absolutely filthy. The amount of sediment at the bottom of my beer is absolutely ridiculous. But I mean,
that's excellent.
It doesn't bother me at all. I'm not drinking it, but
no,
it was really, really good. I really, really enjoyed it, and I would, if given the opportunity, I would definitely pick up. I do another one of these.
Yeah,
2 or 3 more.
I mean, I'm going to take you a step further there. It's almost, I feel like I've accomplished something when I get to the bottom of my beer and there's stuff down there. I mean, because A, that means it was unfiltered. B, it means they put a lot of real ingredients in it, not just flavoring, quote unquote, but real stuff. And then thirdly, remember, the whole thing about how Guinness was a meal in a glass because there's so many vitamins and minerals in it.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I've had a meal when I get to the bottom of a beer and there's chunks down there, not chunks, but just sediment.
Smegma.
It's like, Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So good for you. I actually look forward to that. When there's stuff at the bottom, I'm happy.
All right. Well, it's time for beer 2, so we're going to kick it out to our sponsors, and we'll be right back with you. So getting into beer 2. I hadn't planned on going in this direction until I went to Hair of the Dog and found this beer. Now, I'm pouring it out, and this is viscous. It's another Imperial Stout. And I can tell you right now, this is going to put me on my ass. The question is, how fast does it put me on my ass? This is a Wren House Imperial Stout. It's called Queen Snake. No idea why they named it that, but the story here, as far as the description goes, our last anniversary release, we decided to brew and bottle our Imperial Stout base we use for all of our King Snake barrel-aged beers. Expect intense notes of fresh roasted coffee, dark chocolate, toasted rye, and a smooth Carmelo finish. This one will age beautifully, 11.2 ABV.
Nice. Well, that's your answer. That's why it's Queen Snake, because it's not the king anymore.
Ooh. Dry. A lot of coffee. Definitely, I get the dark chocolate.
Yeah.
Not boozy, though. Not boozy at all. I'm actually impressed. But it's really, really dry.
It's kind of like mine then. That my first one. I mean, you got the rye in there like I had, the chocolate, the coffee. Yeah.
Yep. $18 though. I'm not sure this is an $18 beer.
Oh wow. Yeah. That's
sure
substantial.
that. What you got?
Well, when you take into account, mine was, $4. Hold on. I am pouring here. I'm a little late to the party. I was very interested in how your beer was gonna slide down the back of your throat there, and I'm
the gullet.
At this point, and I'm not complaining, I'm just saying, at this point, it feels like everything that I talk about with my beers or your beers is sexual. I know I did this to myself. I know.
It is.
I get it.
It's okay. It can be a sexual experience. There's nothing wrong with that.
Because that's my relationship with beer. I mean, it basically goes, orgasm with, beautiful women. And then, let's be honest, orgasm, period. And then good beer. So this is, I went with a collaboration here on this one. This is a very unusual beer. I'm not sure what I'm getting into here. And when I say unusual, they're calling this thing an island stout. So this is a collab between Cold Fire Brewing, which is here in Eugene. Great brewery. One of the solid breweries here in Eugene that doesn't just make IPAs. They do reds and browns and stouts, and they've even got a porter in there. So Cold Fire, and then they partnered with Bowie Brewing, which is up in Astoria, which is where Goonies was filmed. Beautiful area. I think next time, McShane, you and your wife make it out here, we need to go up to Astoria. You look across the channel and it's like Washington State. But it's just beautiful, beautiful country. So anyway, Cold Fire and Bowie teamed up and they made something called an island stout. Now this is only a 7.5%er, so it's not going to wreck me. But I have no idea what an island stout is. I don't, that's not a term that is normal. That's like just out there. So let's see what we got.
So you can go to coldfirebrewing.com and take a look at the beers they've got. Fitz has had Cold Fire on here before, and it's always been a fantastic beer. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to just blow your mind a little bit. You remember the black IPA that I had the other night?
Yeah.
This is almost its twin.
So it's a little hoppy.
It's a little hoppy,
malty.
Yep. Little hoppy, little malty, some almost like alkaline battery flavor in your mouth up front.
Okay.
And then it kind of subsides into a nice soury, malty, hoppy finish. A little bit of caramel.
When you say alkaline, is that like when you're tongue fucking a 9-volt battery?
Yeah, like that, but not quite that
Okay.
intense. This
Okay.
is like a 2 volt,
Okay.
maybe a
Okay.
1.5 volt.
I follow.
Yep. You just definitely get that, that alkaline, flavoring up front. Now what I will say is really clean finish. I mean, you drink it and there's nothing left. Like you're ready for the next sip. I think maybe they were trying for some coconut flavors in there, but they just they went a little weak on the coconut, which I'm not complaining. I don't like it when they go over the top with the coconut. It just kills the beer. So
Coconut's overdone.
Actually,
I enjoy a coconut.
Yeah.
I really do, but not as much as what it's being done now. It's like everybody's got a fucking coconut beer, and it's always a coconut stout.
Always. Although what's the Maui Brewing? They do that coconut porter.
Right.
Oh, that's a solid beer. But that's been around for 20 years. I mean, that's their standby.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm really I can't say this is a bad beer. It's unusual. I will say it's unusual to call it a stout like that, and then the first, notes I get are kind of IPA, that kind of hoppy up in your sinuses smell and mouthfeel. But it does finish clean.
So off of Cold Fire Brewing, their site, coldfirebrewing.com/beers. You guys can go ahead and take a look. Island Stout, Bowie times Cold Fire collab. We explored a tropical twist on a dark stout with our coastal collaborators at Bowie Beer Company. Demerara sugar creates a molasses undertone and mingles with the malt to create balanced notes of cocoa nibs, dried papaya, and coconut. This unique Jamaican-style stout has a balanced sweetness and clean, crisp finish from the use of Bowie's own lager yeast. So I would have to say it's the lager yeast that you're getting the IPA, the black IPA.
Yep, I would agree. And I mean, I can't comment on the dried papaya. Definitely a little bit of chocolate in there. Definitely the coconut, which I mentioned. And it is balanced. I mean, they mentioned balance there. It's a really balanced beer. I don't get anything too strong. And then again, like I said before, and they said it in their little paragraph there, it just finishes super clean. So I could see this almost being not a session ale because it is a 7.5, but this is kind of one that would almost be a palate cleanser. Like you just had something like maybe a bit too heavy. This would just clean the palate, and you can go on and finish your night with whatever you want. So good beer, solid beer. I'm impressed. I'm not sure I'd get it again just because it's not in my wheelhouse, but good beer.
I like it. Very nice. Nice pull. All right. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but I do want to bring this up because Scientific American is the actual, it's where it was published. Damar Hamlin.
Hold on. Before you get into this story, what's your opinion lately of Scientific American? I mean, in the last, say, 3 years.
It's turning into a rag.
Okay. That's exactly how I feel. Okay. We don't have to talk about it anymore. That's exactly how I feel.
Like I don't know who owns the paper or owns this specific publication. But I would be interested to know because I don't feel like it's anything that Scientific American used to be.
No.
And by this opinion piece by Tracy Canada. It is Canada. Son of a bitch. Really? Well, there you go.
There you go. That sums it up right there.
So, just to start this off, Damar Hamlin, they were playing, and I love how even the picture they have here is fucking wrong. It should be the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals. That's it. If you're going to do something like a hit piece, this is what you do.
Yep.
Anyway, Damar Hamlin unfortunately took a shot to the chest. Like 5 seconds later, after he got up, sprung to his feet, he just passed out, and he ended up
backwards.
He just fell over
Yeah.
backwards.
Yeah.
Basically a heart attack, cardiac arrest, needed CPR on the field. I mean, it was a very dangerous situation, a very unfortunate situation, and one of those it's very scary for a football player. It's very scary I think for anybody, but for a football player especially, because you don't see this kind of stuff. Typically, you're going to see somebody blows out a muscle, a ACL tear, a hamstring here and there,
Concussion.
Concussions, exactly. And I honestly, at first, you would have thought, wow, okay, he did he just have a stroke? Well, it was actually he went into cardiac arrest. So very, very scary situation. Fast forward to the 6th, and Tracy Canada decides to go ahead and write a piece trying to equate basically the NFL to slavery, and how the NFL is making money off of black violence. And it is one of the worst hit pieces I've ever seen. And I'm absolutely shocked.
And just to make sure that you all heard that correctly, she is comparing the NFL, the National Football League, to slavery. I mean, like the slavery we had in this country that we abolished. You call it a hit piece. Who is she really trying to hit here? The NFL? Is she trying to hit, America as a whole? I mean,
I think it's white owners.
Target here? Okay, but okay, so in that one instance right there, white owners, majority non-white players, I guess you could say it's slavery, except for, wait for it, except for the fact that we pay these people millions of dollars, and it's a volunteer position.
You don't
have
to
into
do it.
No, in fact, you have to try to do it. You have to go to the combines. First you have
to be exceptional to do it.
Yes. You have to play in high school and be exceptional. You have to play in college and get the attention of scouts. And then you have to show up at the combines and fucking wow people. And then maybe you make the B squad. Maybe you make the practice squad. Most guys make the practice squad. So you have to try to get there. I'm sorry, but I understood slavery as you didn't want to be there. You wanted out. You didn't get paid anything, and you still had to work. That's what I understood slavery as. And by the way, let's not look over the fact that the Irish, the Chinese, the African Americans, or the Africans, they were all enslaved in this country. It's not just about Black America or just about white America. There's lots of people that have been enslaved in this country for lots of different reasons, to build railroads, to pick cotton, and to fucking wash clothes. Like, let's just be really clear about this. So either way, this is not slavery. This dude asked to be there. He wanted to be there. He worked out and strived to be there. And then this thing happens. And again, the NFL's explanation that the head surgeon, what he's coming out with, believe me, I'm not going there. McShane, you know where I want to go? I'm not going there.
You can't.
But his explanation, no, I'm not going there. But his explanation as to how and why this happened, why this was the first cardiac arrest on a field since that Detroit Lions player died on the field. This is the first one in 40, 50 years. His explanation is absolutely asinine. And I just want, I'm going to, as Fitz, not as Whiskey Hell, but as Fitz, I'm going to go on record and say it's absolute, just ridiculous bullshit. I can't believe they're actually asking people to believe this. The problem is people are believing it. And so we have to just go along with it and smile and nod and say, okay, yes, sir. That's a great explanation, but it's fucking hogwash. Do not believe it, guys. That's just Fitz saying that.
Well, it just goes to show that this is another publication that just needs to go away.
Yeah.
It's absolute trash. and it's clickbait, honestly. And okay, you
Yeah.
guys got us, but we're calling it out because this is just absolute. It's trash.
Yeah, it's a good call. It is clickbait. And I, for a moment, you want to get upset about something like this. And then, as McShane pointed out, you just go, this is a hit piece. It's ridiculous. Be done with it. Next.
Futurism. Guy brags that his Tesla drove him home when he was too drunk to drive. A Tesla owner bragged about using his vehicle's full-service driving feature to drive home while drunk, a worrying confession that should give anybody pause. I admitted the other day I was a bit tipsy after Christmas, the user bragged during a recent Twitter Spaces call, as spotted by Insider. I was probably drunk, he added, but with FSD, it drove me home, I mean flawlessly. To be abundantly clear, intentionally driving under the influence with or without FSD, and I think that's
fully self-driving or something like that.
Yeah. Is not illegal.
Yeah, that's what it is. Full self-driving. Yeah.
But is not only illegal, but flabbergastingly irresponsible, effectively gambling with the safety of others on the road. What do you think about basically being able to drive yourself home drunk when you've got an autonomous car?
Dude, I'm kind of split on this. And I'll tell you why, because 9 times out of 10, and again, I know everybody out there is going to know exactly what I'm talking about. 9 times out of 10, sober drivers do the wrong thing. Completely fucking sober as a judge drivers do the wrong thing on the road. The computer, and again, I know there's still some software glitches and some things are working out, but still, the computer is going to do the right thing 99.9% of the time. The right thing. It's going to go the speed limit. You can be assured of that. It's not going to change lanes without signaling and making sure it's clear. It's not going to make a turn before making sure there's nobody in the crosswalk. So do I want a self-driving car? No, that seems like some sort of personal affront to my autonomy. But if I was shit-faced, and again, we've talked about this on the show. You and I have had more than one night where we probably shouldn't have driven home, and we did. Would I have loved to have that option? I would have loved it. It would have just saved so much having to, back in the day when we were drinking, there was you had to take a taxi or you had to leave your car there and have someone else drive you. And then hopefully your car was there in the morning. Probably it got towed and you were fucked. I'm not advocating for drunk driving. I'm not. I'm just saying if that were an option, it probably would save more lives than it would take. That's all I'm saying. And this article is saying the opposite. And I think this dude, whoever wrote this, should probably go back and check the AI, the programs that Tesla and other companies are writing for these self-driving programs. They're pretty fucking flawless. I mean, it's amazing what they can do. And so I don't know. I'm torn. Part of me wants to say it's bullshit. Part of me wants to say, let's have everybody just have self-driving cars all the time, everywhere.
If you've got the ability to have a self-driving car, okay, you've invested in this and you can do that. Don't say you drove home drunk, but you let the car do all the work.
Agreed.
Can we just agree on that?
Yes, absolutely.
If you get in a wreck and you're drunk, you can't say, well, I let my car drive me home, so it's the car's fault. You don't get to do that.
No.
You're going to get the DUI. In fact, maybe you should not be able to have a self-driving car since you abuse the privilege. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. If I had the ability to do it, I think I would probably still use Uber since it's so easy, or Lyft.
Right.
I don't think I would. I don't think I'd utilize it. I like the idea of the self-driving car when I'm on, a stretch of road that's 150 miles long and I want to just stretch.
Yep.
Or I want to go, there's no turns. I'm going to go ahead and throw this on. I know I'm going 70 miles an hour. I want to go ahead and look at my phone for a few minutes or do something. I'm okay with all those things.
Edit the show. Edit Whiskey Hell.
Yeah, exactly. Or edit the show while I'm driving. I mean, I've done that before. I'm that's hypothetically speaking my FBI handler, bro. So I'm not okay with it. I think that was a confession by this individual. He's not going to do any time for it. I'm glad he got home safe.
No.
I
Right.
definitely don't condone it, but would I do it? I don't know. Maybe it's a tough one.
Here's the other thing. If this is the one guy who like admitted it, he was on camera or someone was recording while he admitted it. Imagine how often it's happening out there and we just don't know about it.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I mean, this is probably happening thousands of times, let's say a month, but probably a week. And people are getting home safe when they might not have otherwise. So I'm with McShane. I'm not condoning it. I don't think it should be like a selling point on the vehicle. Like, hey, you buy our Tesla, you can drink as much as you want and it'll still get you home. That's definitely not what we should be doing here. But if you find yourself in that situation, you went out for a drink and then the hot guy or the hot girl at the bar started buying you drinks and you can't say no, but you still have to get home. I don't know if this is the worst option, especially in some of these bigger cities where if your car gets towed, you're talking about thousands of dollars in towing fees. I don't know. I'm torn.
Well, you've got fees that go along with that, but did you know that real world data shows early retirement hastens cognitive decline?
Yeah, interesting story. I'm actually kind of glad you found this. Only because, and I'm not going to get into all the details, but I've been talking to you and Hefe about kind of what's going on in my own life. Nobody in my family, but definitely, the next step over, which is very dear friends, and we're basically family. And the cognitive decline didn't happen after retirement. It happened during, like, while on the job. It just started to happen. So I read this article with kind of a critical eye, and again, they're not talking about it. Definitely, if you stay in work, you're not going to have dementia or Alzheimer's. They're talking about percentages here. So definitely the person that I know could have been in, one of the other percentages where it just didn't matter. It wouldn't have mattered. And I don't know. I feel like, though, the people I've known in my life, the decline did start to happen after they left work, after they didn't have anything to get up for in the morning.
This supports, and I think I said this earlier in the week, and this is something I truly believe, because when you look at the economy and you look at 401ks and pensions and how there aren't very many pensions left, this screams don't retire. Yeah. And you're going to live until 90. Why not go ahead and work until 80? Yeah. That's really, and I don't know anything. This is a new atlas.com story. I don't know. This is a newer publication.
Yeah, I don't know anything about them.
So take it for a grain of salt. It's just worth a conversation. If you're not going to do anything after you retire, if you're just going to sit in your house, and I have an example of this. Okay, I have two examples. I have one that doesn't do anything in my life, family members, and I have one that can't fucking sit still and has to put her fucking nose in goddamn everything. Well, the cognitive decline, both are retired. Both have been retired for many years now, actually. One's going on 15 years, and the other's, well, it's arguable whether she actually ever had a job. One has no cognitive decline because she is so active and she's so in the middle of everything. She's constantly working on community interests, constantly working with mayors and all. She's very involved in the community. And the other one is bored out of her fucking mind. Yeah. It's not early retirement. It's fucking giving up. It's saying, you know what? I don't have anything to do. Yeah. Now, there's all kinds of factors that are going to go along with this, right? Your cognitive decline. I mean, you have dementia, you have Alzheimer's, you have all kinds of factors that are going to impact you that you cannot control. But what you can control is not sitting like a lump on a log, or sitting like I'm just never going to leave the house. I'm only going to sit and stare at my fucking iPad or watch the fucking View.
Yeah. Oh
yeah,
God.
Cognitively, you're going to decline if that's how you're going to take things.
Yeah.
So this article, it bothered me from two perspectives. One, you have to be active. If you're not active, you overall, body, health, mind, the whole nine, is going to decline. It's not even just going to be your brain. If you're not active, you're gonna decompose, for lack of better terms.
It's a use it or lose it game. Use it or it's gone.
Exactly. But we also have this other factor that we want to go ahead and push people's retirements out to 72. It's not 55, it's not 65, it's not 70. We want you to go ahead and retire when you're 72 now.
That's also
kind
not
of
fair,
scary,
right?
It's not. It's not. It
is
is absolutely not fair. If I prepared myself to be able to retire at 55, which that is actually my goal, I should get to fucking retire at 55, and I don't have to be a burden on society either. Don't get me wrong. It's not a right in that perspective, but I've done everything that I need to do in order to be able to go ahead and retire at 55 or 65, whatever I feel like doing there. This article doesn't support that, and it's again, it's another hit piece to me.
No, I'm right there with you. I mean, we've known for a long time, and by we I mean Gen Xers, us, our generation. We've known for a long time that Social Security is going to run out before we retire. It's done. I mean, our parents will be the last ones that get any Social Security benefits. It'll be bankrupt by the time we get to retirement age. And it certainly will be gone for the millennials and younger. And so then what does that mean for us? So I'm working until the day I die, or until I just can't move anymore, or until my back actually breaks. And so those of us who are aware of these things and alert, we're trying to find ways to make sure that we are financially, us and our families are financially secure going into those later years of life, because it's a really scary thing to be, I don't know, let's say, 65, and you could retire, but in order to do so, you're going to have to A, lower your quality of life, B, maybe not make it as far as you want to make it, and C, not be able to help your loved ones. That's scary.
And the kicker for many is now I have to rely on people that I raised.
Yeah.
And who wants that?
No, nobody. I mean, nobody. I mean, this was already a huge crisis in China, right? They had that whole generation of people. I mean, it was the cultural custom to take care of your elders. We have this whole generation of younger people who didn't want to live in the rural villages anymore, wanted to go to the cities to make money, and no one was home to take care of the old people. And they just sat down and died, man. We're talking about human lives, human people here who lived a life and a story that's worth telling. And then they just lay down in their beds and died. And that's not what I want to happen to me or anyone I know. And so we got to, to your point, we have to stay active. We have to keep fighting to the best of our ability and see if we can't make a better life for ourselves in our later years.
Let's get into the first brain implant to treat depression. A penny-sized,
interesting story.
Really interesting story. Digital pill that sits under the skin and releases tiny electrical pulses starts human trials. What do you think of that?
As you know, a lot of my work in my day job, I work with people who, many of them have been diagnosed with various levels of mental illness, bipolar, even schizophrenia, and depression goes along with all of those things. And right now, the answer to that is drugs, antidepressants, the gabapentins, you got several different families of them, the SSRIs. And what sucks about that is that you're actually changing the brain chemistry. So when you might be blocking, say, the serotonin reuptake inhibitors, you might be blocking that, but that has effects to other parts of your mood and your motivation and your sexual health, all those things. You can't just cover up one thing without covering up 5 or 6 others. So to have an option where you could very almost surgically, with surgical precision, as you mentioned earlier, just find that spot in the brain that needs to be stimulated and or turned down at will. And I mean, so that's the cool part of it, is that you could get rid of the drugs, because drugs are bad. Okay. We learned that from South Park. Drugs are bad. Hugs, not drugs. Okay. So you get rid of that. Great. Now you've got this brain implant. It's very precise. You can control it to, very minute levels. The scary part about that is, the human body's an electrical system. And what if someone, I don't know, hacks your fucking phone and then starts playing with your mood because they have your app, or they have your password, or they're just smarter than you, and they hacked everything.
Okay. I didn't even think about, somebody's device being hacked. Go ahead.
That's fucking scary, dude. I mean, that's all we are, is an electrical system. They're already wanting to put kill switches on our cars. So what, they're going to put a kill switch on our brain? Like, oh, you had a dirty thought. Fitz is gone. Oh, McShane, you looked at that girl too long. You're gone. So that's where my mind goes with it. It's kind of just, I know it's dystopian, but we're kind of living in dystopian times right now. And it's scary to me. I think there's huge upside to this. Clearly, we just have to be careful with the reaches of it.
It's interesting to me, as somebody who I have an anxious personality. So I take anxiety drugs, and I do a ton of other stuff to kind of mitigate that, which, like, meditation, and just dealing with it physically. So, it's interesting to me. I don't think I would ever fall back on that, but my case isn't as bad. I get down. Everybody gets down. Everybody goes through a depressing time. I kind of wonder what the level is, or what the bar is, that someone would say, okay, we're going to go ahead and put this in. Is it after you don't react to drugs? Is this maybe a first step? That's what I'm curious about, because it seems extreme, but if we're going in the land of Neuralink, and we're going down the road of being able to go ahead and encourage different parts of the brain by electrical stimulation, I wonder where that fits in.
I don't know. Every human invention somehow seems to wind up being used for bad stuff, for evil. And so I would be cautious. I mean, if I was afflicted with this, and I know right now I'm not lying, or it's not an exaggeration to say that I know probably 8 people in my life right now who are, have been diagnosed with some level of emotional disability, whether it's bipolar or, manic depressive, which is basically kind of the same thing, schizophrenia. Okay. If this is an option for those people who I care about, and they can have 100% total control over it, and not their doctor, not the neighbor down the road, but they had 100% control, I'm all for that. I feel like that's, you have an imbalance, you can help solve your own imbalance. Great. I just worry about accessibility, who has control. I don't know. It's just, it's dangerous waters is all I'm saying. It's just dangerous.
What do you want to be able to do with your brain without having to physically manipulate something?
I mean, what do you mean? I like telekinesis? I mean,
well, So like in the vein of what Neuralink, Elon Musk's Neuralink.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so they've been able to go ahead and put a chip in a monkey's brain and allows it to control a keyboard, so it can type out complete
Yeah.
sentences.
Yeah.
Do you want to be able to do that? Do you
No,
want to
I have
be
no
able
interest in that.
to? What about being able to process information just rather than having to read it? It's just jacked. It's Johnny Mnemonic style, just jacked into you.
I mean, Johnny Mnemonic, The Matrix, you just plug it in and, I know Kung Fu kind of a thing. So here's my take on it. And I'm going to sound like a fucking dinosaur right now, but I don't care. This is truly my take on it. If you're not going to take the time and instill the discipline to learn a thing, whatever that thing is, whether it's martial arts or chess or Shakespeare, I don't care. If you're not going to take the time and put in the reps, it's all false knowledge. It won't. My biggest problem with the Matrix was, he got programmed with all this data, and then all of a sudden he could fight, somebody who'd been fighting for a long time and stand up with them. And I know he was a superhero, he was the one and all that. But
Well,
that's
he was
not
also
that's,
he was also in the Matrix though too. He was also basically
okay.
a gamer, right?
Right. And so you're thinking it. I'm just saying, like, if you haven't learned something over time and made mistakes and had the hardships of it, it's false learning. I can read a book on nuclear physics. I've read several on quantum physics and everything else. Does that make me a physics professor or somebody who could teach a class or somebody who could create a
No.
nuclear weapon? No. And so you can't just read about a thing and know it. I don't think you can program a brain to just know something either. Information coming in, yes, you could process it faster, but actually putting it into action, totally different thing. And so I'm actually not interested in any of it. I understand where Elon's coming from. The next generation of people are going to be cyborgs. There's going to be a cybernetic link between your brain and your body. Fine. I don't want it to be any part of that. At that point, I go off into the forest and I become a monk.
I'm so torn on this because the whole bionics piece, I would love to have knees and hips and shoulders and major joints that were all bionic. Like,
yeah.
You can start getting into robotics. I am absolutely fascinated by it. Would I like to be able to process information quicker? Be able to take it in faster, and especially in a way that if I woke up in the morning and suddenly I had okay, we'll use Flipboard for an instance, okay? Because it's an aggregator and you can kind of be very specific in what information you're going to take in.
Right.
If I could guide that and I could ensure that the only information that I got that I actually took in, I don't know that I'm against it. It's in and it's done. I don't know if, and this is where the whole concept of these devices, these implants, just because the information's available or it opens up this ability to you, I don't know that you actually process or take any of that information in.
Well, okay, that's where I was going to go with this. All right, and this is again not to get into specifics, but my training the last 8 years, well, really 12 years, but my training the last 8 years is all about human intelligence and how we bring in information, process it, and then reapply it. And it's one thing to be able to program a brain to bring in information more quickly, process it more quickly, but without the storage, which is memory, then you can't use it for a later problem. In other words, one of the things that makes humans unique is that you can have a problem. Let's say, I don't know, some problem with your car, and one of the fuses go out, and you learn about fuses and how they work. And so you replace the fuse on your headlights because your headlights won't work. You replace the fuse and boom, your headlights work. And then 2 years later, boom, your car won't start. And you go, shit, I wonder if it's not the fuse for the starter. And you look at the fuse and sure as shit, it was the fuse for the starter. But if you didn't remember what you learned way back when 2 years ago and couldn't apply it to a new problem, that information would have been useless. I mean, if you'd have forgotten about fuse boxes and fuses and the whole principle behind it, and then your car won't start, you'd be like, shit, I have a dead battery. And that's not the problem at all. So what I'm saying is one of our strengths is our ability to bring in information, store it, process it, and then our human creativity helps us use it in different ways, in other ways. I have learned so many things that I have been able to apply to other problems. It's not even funny. For the first time in my life, I put in a kitchen sink today. I have never done that in my life before, but
and it was a gorgeous kitchen sink. You did a really good job.
I appreciate that. We're very proud of it. I've never done it before, but I used principles that I've used in other problems to problem solve to make that work. And so I hear you, Elon. I do. We want to bring in information, want to be able to process it. But until you improve the storage unit and then improve the human brain's ability to process that and turn it into something new, you are completely dehumanizing us. And I'm going to stand by that. I will die on that hill.
Let's keep this this topic and look at it throughout season 3.
I love that
because I think the idea of learning is the kicker on this, right? I mean, what are we? I mean, you could process something; it doesn't mean you learned it.
Nope.
You can take in the information. It doesn't mean that you can turn around and use any of that information for anything. It's just shit that you know. Congratulations, you stupid knowledge.
Right. Our phones can look up anything. In
no time.
But would you say that anything, but would you say they're alive and that they could use that information to do something else? No.
They're no smarter than what we are.
Oh, less. I would argue.
So let's hang on to that one. I think that's going to be interesting.
Agreed. Good topic. Very good topic. And good conversation, but also good for us to think about where do we want to be as humans, not as people, not you and me, not McShane and Fitz and Hefe, but as a culture, as a society, where do we want to be in 10 years? Do we want to be cybernetic?
I'm really curious about it, and I can't say that I'm not on. I'm on the fence, but I'm leaning towards how far can I take this husk, for lack of a better term? How far can I take it? I'm interested. I'm definitely interested.
Yeah, I'm actually more interested in what happens after I leave this husk. That's my personal philosophy, and I mean, I don't fear death. I'm not welcoming it. Like I'm not suicidal or anything. And driving my car 100 miles an hour everywhere. But when it comes, I'm actually going to be excited. I'm not going to be scared. I can't wait to see what's next. So
I never think about it.
Yeah.
I just don't. And I couldn't tell you why. I could not tell you why. That's another thing. We're going to explore that through season 3. I love this.
Well, I love it too. That's awesome.
Here, we're also gonna. We're actually setting this up perfectly because Hefe should be coming on the show really, really soon. And now we're gonna we're gonna touch on man touches another man's hair without permission and is stabbed hours later. And Hefe has phenomenal hair, like phenomenal hair. You and I don't. Our hair days are gone. And,
Well, I mean, we've got the, of course, Hefe does too, but we're all my hair follicles seem to have transferred to the bottom half of my head. So like, it's all over my face, like to like woolly mammoth proportions, but on the top of my head, I mean, it's Chernobyl up there. Like everything's dying. And so I'm keeping my hair like really, really short up there, but my beard, like I'm embracing the beard that I can grow. And I'm really enjoying that. You and I had a nice conversation at 3 a.m. about beard care. But yeah, but Hefe, yes. The hair that dude can still grow. I'm envious. I'm gonna be honest, I'm envious.
He's a dapper motherfucker. That's what he is.
Yep.
The victim immediately began feeling pain in his abdomen and lifted his shirt, where he observed a significant wound and realized that he'd been stabbed. Have you ever wanted to touch another guy's hair?
No. But I have been stabbed.
You've been stabbed?
Yeah, but
not for stabbed.
Not for touching. When I was in the military, they were supposed to be quote unquote training knives.
Oh,
but,
okay.
Yeah, but they're still sharp enough to penetrate about 1.5 inches into my left shoulder.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that one. That's a really good scar. It's covered up by my tattoo, so you can't really see it. But, the worst part wasn't the going in; it was when he pulled it out, because it made this sucking sound.
Oh, was it grooved?
No, not grooved.
Really?
Nope. Just a flat blade. It had a blood groove on it, even though again it wasn't sharpened. But it kind of made this kind of sick sucking sound, and then but the nerves were raw at that point, right? I mean they've been severed, and then you pull it out, and it just so. But I didn't even know the dude. Like we were just training partners, and he was way better than me, way better. So I can't imagine A, wanting to touch someone's hair, and then B, getting stabbed for it in the abdomen. Like that's scary. That's life-threatening. My shoulder would just bled a lot.
A man was arrested after police in Indiana say he stabbed another man who touched his hair without permission. Ryan Johnson, 36, faces an attempted murder charge following the incident on January 1st in Bloomington. Police said in a January 8th news release, the victim, a 32-year-old man, said he was walking toward a bar when he came upon Johnson, according to police. The 32-year-old, Jesus Christ, asked Johnson if he could touch his hair, and Johnson said no. But police said the 32-year-old man touched Johnson's hair anyway, leading to a verbal exchange between the two. The 32-year-old man apologized, and the two went their separate ways. Well, that motherfucker got shanked for touching that guy's hair.
All right. Hefe is back. Hefe, welcome.
Hi.
So here's the question of the night. Would you stab a bitch for touching your hair?
Not just for touching my hair. There has to be something else going on there. Although I do value my hair. I mean,
well, your hair is fucking gorgeous.
No, we were just talking about that. Like, you're gonna really enjoy this episode because we fucking talked you up. Your hair is beautiful. We both envy your hair.
But here's the thing: I don't really do a whole lot to it. I mean, I don't.
Fuck you.
No.
You have it. You have it. You have it. So you have it.
I don't use special shampoo. I don't go to like salons and shit.
Okay,
but
yeah.
when you gel it, I like how it looks, and I don't want anybody touching it because I'm anal, I guess. I don't know, but
would you shank somebody though?
Like, and I don't hang weights off my penis to make it longer. I mean, blah blah blah. Come on.
I if we were out at a bar and some guy came up and said, "Oh, look how pretty your hair is," and asked to touch it, and I said, "Get the fuck out of here," and he kept badgering me, and then finally did touch it, I might start a fight. I might punch him in the face, but I wouldn't go stab him. I mean, there has to be something else going on, like next level type shit.
I actually agree. I think there's something else that happened here that the official police report isn't reflecting, isn't showing, because just someone touching me, unwanted. I mean, like, okay, like you said, Hefe, okay, he's touching my hair, but then he grabs he gives me a reach around when I don't want it. Yeah, we're fighting, and I might be shanking you.
Well, they're not giving the whole story. They closed it.
Yeah, right.
Wait a second. So he's giving you a reach around. Is he penetrating you too, or is it just a reach around? Like
Yeah, no, No,
Random
I'm
reach
picturing
around?
like a no, I'm picturing I'm picturing like he's like, "Hey, can I touch your hair?" I'm like, "No." And he's like, "But please." And I'm like, "No." And then we go our separate ways. And then all of a sudden I feel someone touching my hair, and then I just hear like he just wetted his finger,
Mm.
and then there's penetration behind me, and then like a reach around in the
Oh, my
front,
God.
and I'm gonna fight. I'm just
Well, yeah,
saying.
there's an elbow flying to start. I mean, you're
Yeah.
coming back.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know if you guys have touched on this. I want to touch something real quick, because we did give them a sticker, so they might be listening. I want to give a shout out to the kid in the elevator. That was that was classic. He played that so well. I mean, that was hilarious.
Why do all of our best
Oh.
moments happen in elevators?
Right?
They really do. They really do. Shout out to the kid who was traveling with his mom who decided to call us out because we were still wearing our AVN gear, our media passes. Are you guys going to the porn convention? Because he was totally trying to embarrass us, and we're like, yeah, man. Are you guys going?
No,
You guys should totally go.
No, what he was trying to
embarrass
do.
his mom.
Yeah, he was trying to embarrass his mom because he's like, oh, you're going to the AVN convention. We're like, yeah. He's like, oh, that's cool. Well, I'm here with my mom. And he just let it hang, and she just looked at us like, I'm sorry.
He's such a dick. He's like one of our people.
God.
It's amazing.
Dude, I had forgotten about that. Thank
Good
you
call.
so much for bringing that up, Hefe, because he was a fucking rock star.
He was. I told Gretchen that story. I love that story. He played it so deadpan. I'm here with my mom. Yeah,
I'm here with my mom. That's cool. You guys are here to hang out with porn stars. I'm here with my mom. So, oh, it's so great. Yeah, that.
But by the time we got off the elevator and we're walking out of the Rio, she's like, "Oh, this may not be a bad idea. Maybe we should go over to watch the porn star convention." Then we handed her the stickers, and I think they thought that those were passes or something, which kind of ran.
Because Fitz told them they were.
I did not tell them they were. I just didn't tell them they weren't, which is different. It wasn't an all-out lie. I just didn't.
Beautiful.
Oh,
I'm like, she's like, oh, so we just show them these and we get in. I'm like, yep.
Oh God.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to both of you. I'm sorry if you're out there listening.
yeah.
Because you
know
have
what?
our sticker.
Yeah. You know what? Write us whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com. I will hook you up with a shirt.
Yeah.
I will hook you up with a shirt for both you and your mom. Oh fuck. We're terrible.
Yeah, just show them this thing and they'll let you in as soon as you pay the entry fee.
It's perfectly fine. It's totally fine.
Oh God.
All right,
That
so
was
the Red Dwarf. This was the downfall of Hefe.
Yeah, we were
I
solid.
feel like it was it was almost a Greek tragedy, right?
Well, like you said before, this was an ongoing developing thing, starting with, basically the screwdrivers in the room, and it just snowballed, and the Red Dwarf.
But there were several drinks before. I mean, several.
No,
drinks before
there
that.
were, but if you guys go back to the last episode, the AVN, when we're talking about the AVN event.
No,
in the room, there's part of it where Hefe makes a screwdriver and he goes, oh.
Well, Fitz stopped mid sentence because he saw me pour.
Yeah, you almost tipped over in your chair, and so no, I'm well, dude, your recoil from that drink was like, so
it was epic.
No, I'm not saying what I'm saying is it didn't start there. It definitely went off the rails there. But there were several drinks before that. I don't want Hefe. I don't want our listeners to think Hefe's a complete lightweight. I mean, he hung with us all day. No, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. All day you were there with us. We had the beers at Resort World and the $21 drinks, but yes, by the time we got back to the hotel and decided to recap, and you poured yourself. And I'm not going to call it a screwdriver because a screwdriver includes a little bit of orange juice. What you poured was a vodka and a splash, like a little dip of orange juice.
Yeah. In
and-
hotel shitty glasses that were like,
hotel. Yeah.
they're
Oh,
so
they
fucking
were
terrible.
But then, okay, but all that aside, McShane
Red
comes
Dwarf.
up with a wonderful idea. Let's get off the strip. Let's go to let's go where the locals drink. Let's find a local bar. And he finds this fucking place called the Red Dwarf, which being and I don't know what you guys picture when you picture a Red Dwarf, but I immediately picture a star, like in its death throes, right? That's like red dwarfs are they used to be red giants, and now they've shed all their stuff and they're just dying. They're just ready to die. And so that's what I picture. So I'm being a astronomy nerd. Yeah. This is what I picture. And so we walk into this place. It's dark. It's dingy. It smells like piss. And we were at home.
Perfect.
It's perfect.
Absolutely perfect.
It's
That was a great find, Steve.
So
yeah,
this was basically a punk bar.
Yeah.
Let's not bury the lead on that.
I was gonna say I half expected Lagwagon or fucking No Use for a Name or somebody to jump out of the, and just start rocking. Like it was that kind of place.
The pictures on the front page when you go to their website, it's Red Dwarf. It's got a picture of a little devil, and he looks anorexic. Booze, music, pizza, and we did booze, music, and pizza that night. It was really fucking solid.
Yeah, it was. Go ahead, Hefe.
We had pizza. Oh, we did have
God, yes,
you
it
didn't
was
remember
so
the
good.
pizza? The pizza
was so
outstanding.
good. Oh,
yeah.
It was outstanding. It was just greasy enough, right? I mean, it had the right amount of bread, grease, and cheese and pepperoni. It was perfect.
It was perfect drunk food.
Yep.
Absolutely perfect drunk food. But Tiki Bar had band posters and news pictures up on the walls. Kind of antique furniture. Ernie behind the bar was fantastic. I don't remember Rosie the Riveter chick. What was her name?
Allison.
Allison. Allison was fantastic. And Hefe, you had to do a 20-sided dice.
Yeah, that plan went sideways.
Yes, it did.
I was nominating you two to do it, and the next thing I know, all three of us are doing it.
Yeah, so the gimmick was they had these two of them. They had these huge foam dodecahedron dice, these 20-sided dice. And they looked used, like the corners were just completely worn. And so, one of us asked, I think it was McShane asked, what is this? What do the dice do? So she points up to the chalkboard up there, and there's exactly 20 beers on draft. And she said, well, you roll the dice, and whatever number comes up, that's the beer you get. And then I get to pair the shot with whatever beer you get. And we were just drunk enough to be like, oh, that sounds like a fantastic idea. And so we did it. It was for like what, $10? It was $10 for.
Yeah, it was cheap. Yeah. And this was a craft beer bar too. So all of the beers, there are 20 different beers, and they're all craft beers on their, as far as their taps go.
Yeah.
And we each got hooked up with the beer, and Lauren, what you say it was Lauren?
No, Allison.
Thank you. Allison hooked us up with the beer or a shot that corresponded with it, and it was. I enjoyed mine.
Oh no, I'll say she had skill, man. That took skill, and she fucking killed it. At least for mine,
there was science involved. There was science involved.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
We were all just drunk enough to do it. Some of us might have been a little more than just drunk enough, but
yeah. So we do Hefe rolls the first one, and he rolled like something that was a little bit too big. So I took his, and Allison paired something beautiful with it. And then Hefe rolled again, and he got a nice cider with a nice shot, but it happened to be a little bit too much. And again, you're out of practice. We're not saying, I mean, it's nothing against you. It's just, you haven't been practicing. And, but boy, there was a big difference between Hefe pre dice roll and Hefe post dice roll.
Yeah.
Big difference. Yeah.
Fun cab ride though. I think I don't know.
You were asleep.
It was
You
fun
fell
for
asleep
us.
on me. You passed out on me. I basically had a Hefe baby in my arms.
Was that the where we started talking about his history of the Philippine Revolution?
Yes, that guy was fucking nuts.
That guy was amazing.
He was awesome, but he knew shit. He knew some shit.
He knew shit, and
Like,
he was like,
yeah.
"You guys are fucking wasted. This is gonna be awesome." He
Yep.
just went with it. He didn't care. He was from the Philippines.
Yep.
He had grandchildren that actually left. Let's see. He started in L.A., went to Las Vegas. His grandchildren and his children went back to the Philippines. That's all I remember from.
And he stayed. Yeah,
But
and Hefe,
he
you
went
remember
on at
all that,
length.
right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
fuck.
actually totally remember all of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm gonna vow that wherever we go, there's gonna be places like the Red Dwarf. We're gonna go and we're gonna find something off the beaten track. It might suck, but we're still gonna work on it. Hey, I'm really glad that guy's laughing at what I just said. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No. We're gonna find the best wherever we go. We're gonna find the best punk bars we can find in each city. That's our dedication as Whiskey Hell to our fans. Even if you're not into punk music or into punk bars, that's what we're gonna do is find the best punk bars for you.
I like it. Hey, Hefe. Hey, I want every time you switch with the dealer, I want you to pat him on the ass and say good job.
I second that. So now it's Whiskey Hell law.
Yep. Make it happen.
You said
Any two of us decides something and votes on it, it's done.
vote the girl.
Yep. Even more so. Hey, good job.
Oh. Well, yeah, I mean that's just fun for both of you.
That's right. Sorry, Gretchen. I'm willing to go to HR for Hefe.
Yeah, we'll definitely we're gonna do the goodwill hunting. We're gonna go and represent Hefe.
That's
And
right.
in any meeting. You're a suspect. You're a suspect.
How about dem apples? That's
How
it.
much
Hey.
cash you got on you?
Hey, before I go, I want to give a shout out to one of our newest listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was part of our Vegas trip.
Yes.
Oh,
Kind of.
yes, she was. Yes,
Yep.
she was.
Yep.
Hey, Buttercup.
Oh, wow.
Oh shit. Oh.
Hey,
Hefe.
I'm going to lean into this.
Yeah, lean in.
Buttercup.
Get close.
Buttercup, thanks for listening, Buttercup. We're so glad you were listening.
Always like new listeners.
Hey, and I'll just say to Buttercup, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for like all the terrible, awful things I say on the show because you know that's not who I am.
Oh, whatever. Come on.
She knows exactly who I am.
Run- yeah, she knows. It's all good.
Damn it! I tried to fake it.
Yep. You're a wonderful individual. That's all that matters.
I gotta go.
All right, man.
later.
Enjoy your night.
All right. See you guys later.
All right, Hefe is going. Let's kick it out to our sponsors, and then we'll come back and wrap things up.
Good call.
You want to talk about the sun popping off,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm not going to, I know some people just don't get into this part of the show, so you can skip ahead. I promise it's not going to be more than a minute. So generally, sunspots, we're into sun activity maximum right now. Like we're at the peak of maximum. Every 5.9 months, we go into maximum, and then 5.9 months, we go into minimum. We're at the maximum of the maximum right now. And there are no coronal holes. It's just all just flares just coming, just these sunspots that create flares. Normally, a sunspot will interact with itself. It'll have a positive and a negative, and it'll flare to itself. Well, something very rare happened yesterday into today, like yesterday late into this morning. And that is that a sunspot on the southern hemisphere was interacting with itself, but it also started interacting with the sunspot on the northern hemisphere, which was equally as big. So you had this huge arc, and I will send a picture to you, McShane, so you can put it on show notes so people can see this huge arc.
When you say interacting, what do you mean? Just like
okay, no. So it was basically a coronal mass is arcing from the south to the north. So it's this huge semicircle going. And when I say huge, I'm talking 50, 60 times the size of the earth. I mean, this isn't, I'm not talking about like elephant size, 50 to 60 times bigger than the earth. This huge arc of stuff being ejected out into space and then being sucked in to the other coronal hole, to the other sunspot, and which only fuels that sunspot. And then that sunspot pops off. We have had, I don't know how many M class. We've had 6 X class flares, not big ones, but just X class flares in the past 2 weeks, which is very active. So, but the fact that we're seeing that interaction between southern hemisphere and northern hemisphere, we just haven't seen it before. So I just wanted to mention it. It could be nothing, like nothing might happen as it turns, because it's turning in earth facing about right now, maybe in the next couple hours. So for the next 24 to 36 hours, it could be nothing, or we might have a complete and total blackout of everything on the planet. So we just don't know, but it's very, very unusual, beautiful to watch and to see, and something to keep an eye on. So I just wanted to mention that because it's time sensitive. It won't be around next week. So I just wanted to get that out there.
We need to figure out how we can get some of this stuff on the site. We've been, if you guys haven't been on whiskeyhellpod.com for a while, we've been upgrading the site quite a bit. We need to figure out how to get that on there. If you can figure out where there's like a feed, as far as like,
well, definitely. There's several sites that I go to. Yeah.
So I want a consistent feed that I can go ahead and just tap into and have it just print on our website so that all the information that you have is always there.
Okay.
So I'm charging you with that.
Okay. I'm on it.
Fitz, which beer are you taking to bed?
I'm going to go with the Lagunitas that I had first.
Okay.
Very complex, very, very smooth, kind of a smooth operator. That's one of those that, I mean, before you know it, you're in bed with this guy, and he's doing all the right things. This second beer, not that he doesn't know what he's doing, he just isn't quite as smooth. So I again, first time I've had an island stout, quote unquote. They said Jamaican inspired. Okay. It's okay. It's not phenomenal. That first beer was phenomenal. So what about you? What are you taking?
It's actually really tough. I'm going to go with the Wiley Roots though. Because it was pretty unique. There's a lot of different flavors to it. I love the Queen Snake. I really, really did. But at this point, and maybe that's actually because of the Wiley Roots, honestly, it totally could have killed my taste buds. I don't know. But the surgical precision from Wiley Roots, it definitely, I would buy this beer again. And I would actually cellar it, and I would want to go ahead and have it over, 6, 12, 18 months and see how it actually evolves. I'm interested in this one. I'm hooked.
Yeah. Well, interesting side note before we sign off here. Susie Big Tits has chosen my second beer. She's going to take the Island Stout. So,
Nice.
I don't know. I don't know what to do with that, but Susie Big Tits is going to be around this whole season, so we might as well let her try some of our beer, and she liked the second beer better. So, they both have their merits.
Hey, Susie Big Tits. We're gonna have to see about how we can have her be a fourth chair on the show. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out how to have her on as a guest.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
All right, that is going to wrap things up. That is the beginning of season 3. We really appreciate you guys listening. whiskeyhellpod.com is the website. Whiskey_hell on Twitter. Whiskeyhellpod on Instagram. Reach out to us. We appreciate you guys listening. We would not be doing this without you. We're going to our third season. We're coming up on 100 episodes. We need to plan that, Fitz.
Shit. Yes, we do.
Yeah, we got a lot of shit to do. But I'm loving it. I think we're all loving it.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. I mean, we keep showing up every week.
That's for damn sure.
Yep.
All right. On behalf of Hefe, who has back to the grind, thanks for listening. I'm Steve McShane.
I'm Fitz. Love you all.
We'll talk to you soon.
That will do it for this week's show. Shocking how long they last each week. Remember to leave a review, and thanks for listening.